Now welcome to another lightning response video, where this time we got a couple related questions, and we'll start with this one from Tom G, who asked, Hey Thor, with Skeleton Crew being a good show with terrible viewership numbers, do you think Disney will finally get serious about the damage to the brand, or will they keep Kathleen Kennedy around for another 3 to 4 years? And to be completely honest with you here, I really don't think it's a matter of Disney behind closed doors denying there's something wrong with Star Wars or the fandom. I think they know full well they've got a huge problem on their hands here. They know things like the sequel trilogy were not a huge hit with the fans, and that many of their shows that have been on Disney Plus weren't a huge hit with fans either. But they're just never going to come out and say that pretty much no matter what. But yes, I'm sure Bob Iger and company, all the top dogs at Disney, they know they've got a problem. They know they have messed up Star Wars. Again, behind closed doors, they're talking about this. I'm sure they're talking about how they've screwed this up and what to do about it. And in some ways, they know better than we do how bad it is because they have all the actual numbers right in front of them. They get the spreadsheets with all the actual facts and figures. They're sitting in the meetings, hearing the truth of it all. And there's no way they're looking at these numbers and are happy about it. There is no way they're happy about Skeleton Crew, that the viewership numbers were terrible. Not saying the show was bad, but the viewership numbers look like they're pretty terrible. That it couldn't even crack the top 10 new original shows, and they likely didn't see a significant bump in either new Disney Plus subscriptions or retaining the ones they've got, which also goes for the Acolyte before it. 2 Star Wars shows in a row now have seemed to be a flop, which is terrible when combined they spent around $400 million on these 2 shows. Significantly more on the Acolyte, but still it was like $130 million for Skeleton Crew. There's also no way they're happy about merchandise sales not being where they want them to be. I mean, go to any big retailer, go to Walmart, go to Target, go wherever, and go to the toy aisle, and you're going to see a tiny Star Wars section that has the same stuff in it that it had last year and probably the year before too. You can bet they're also not happy that they had to shut down the Galactic Star Cruiser Resort less than a year after it opened up, especially considering they spent over $1 billion on it. There's also no way they're happy about there being no new Star Wars movie to come out in over 5 years now. There's no way they're happy about pretty much any of this, anything Star Wars related. It is all a disaster right now if you are looking at the numbers. Problem is, I don't think they have the first clue what to do about it. I don't think they even know how to begin to fix this mess that the franchise is in. Because sure, they know fans are upset again, they know that. It's not like they're living in a delusional state where they think, oh, all the fans must be happy even though they're not buying anything. They know they're upset, they're just not going to come out and say it. And they know it has to do with the quality of the content, but they don't know how to make content or what content to make that the fans are going to like. They're not Star Wars fans themselves. They may understand that the fans are upset and the reason, but they don't understand that reason, if you get my meaning. They can't put themselves in our shoes and really see from our point of view what we're so upset about. And so they're not going to figure out how to fix this thing. Hell, even us fans wouldn't agree on how to exactly fix this thing. We'd all have our own wish list or our own ideas on where they should go next or what they should do next or what we want to see them do next. Though I do think at the end of the day, we all really just want Star Wars to be good. We want some good content no matter what it might be. And I also know what a lot of you out there are going to say in regards to this, and I know that because I'm thinking the same thing. But getting rid of Kathleen Kennedy would be a pretty good place to start, even if you don't have all the answers. That seems to be the beginning of solving a lot of your problems. Getting rid of her is how you begin to make things right. She has been at the helm of Lucasfilm for the last decade plus now, since Disney took over, and she has steered the ship into the sea of irrelevancy. And there's no way they believe she is the one to guide it out of there. They realize she is not the answer. And if they don't, well, maybe they are idiots. I don't know. Because she does still endure. She is still the president of Lucasfilm, as far as we know anyway. There have been no updates on her contract one way or the other recently. And that contract was supposed to have expired a few months ago, back in October of 2024. And previously, when her contract was renewed, we did hear about it. The last 2 times, in 2021 and 2018, there was an announcement. Not a huge one or anything, but it was announced. We did learn it. But this time there has been nothing. There has been radio silence from Disney when it comes to Kennedy, which I'd argue is a good thing if you want to see her gone, and is what I predicted would be the case if she wasn't going to get her contract renewed. that we wouldn't hear about it until Star Wars Celebration coming up this April, that we'd hear about her stepping down and she's only going to stick around until they find a replacement maybe, or maybe they've already found a replacement and that will be announced there too. And they're in the middle of a transition process right now. Whatever the case may be, though, we won't find out about it until Celebration, where they can give her all the pomp and circumstance she deserves for her time at Lucasfilm, so we can celebrate her and all she has done for Star Wars. And that kind of then brings us to this question from Jack Nooney, who asked, "Hey Thor, if the new Superman movie is a success and Gunn's DCU takes off, do you think that the Disney higher-ups will see that and possibly try something similar with Star Wars, or am I just being too hopeful?" Now, I'm not entirely sure what you're hoping for, but if what you're hoping for is sort of a reset of the Star Wars universe, similar to how DC is resetting their universe with Superman, and kind of going back to their main character, I suppose you could say Superman and Batman are the two big dogs in DC, I think you could say. So if DC is resetting with Superman and it is a huge success, which it might be, does Disney finally perhaps say, you know what, we could reset our universe and that might solve all our problems. If we get rid of Kennedy, if we redo the sequels, we have a fresh start. Maybe we lure back all the fans who have said they won't come back until Kennedy is gone, and that they won't come back to the sequels are retconned, and they try again. Of course, the problem there is there are people who like the sequels, and we could have a very fun debate about if it's more people like the sequels than not like them, and how many casual fans like them, and would they go and watch new Star Wars sequels. We could discuss all that at length, but I think the reality is you're not really gonna anger too many people if you redo the sequels. I don't know that they have that many diehard and passionate fans, and if you are that kind of diehard and passionate fan, how upset are you going to be that they're just giving you more and different Star Wars? Now, you might be upset because you feel like the haters are winning in the end or whatever, but it is a numbers game. As I said before, Disney is looking at the numbers. They're not Star Wars fans. They're not basing decisions off of whether or not something should stay in the canon or not. They're making decisions on what is going to sell. And I think a strong case could be made that one of the few things that could actually sell is redoing the sequels. They might be at that point where they have to kind of break the emergency glass and pull the lever and say, let's try again. I don't know. I don't know what else you do, where else you go, what else you try that is going to repair everything that is wrong with the franchise. And let's be real, they did it with the EU. They said, we're wiping that away and going to give us a new canon. So how would it be all that different from what they've done before, other than the fact that, yeah, they did put this in movie form. They made a really big deal out of this being the continuation of the Lucas films and the Lucas saga, the Skywalker saga. I get all that. But at the same time, for better or worse, and I'd argue in general it is for worse, but we do live in a world where remakes and redos and all of that are pretty commonplace. Everything gets remade eventually, it seems. And I'm not saying that's a justification for redoing Star Wars, but the casual fan, the average audience, they're gonna be used to this sort of thing. Heck, we're even getting Harry Potter redone, and that doesn't feel like that was all too long ago. That is being turned into a multi-season series on HBO Max. And I would argue, as someone who is not a book fan, I've never read the Harry Potter books, but that doesn't seem to be something that even needs to be remade in the first place. I don't know that there was too much controversy around that. I know some book purists don't like certain aspects. But if you can redo Harry Potter, why can't you redo the Star Wars sequel trilogy? Now, I'm not saying I think the sequels are going to be retconned. I'm simply saying, even though once upon a time I thought it would be next to impossible, but if things keep going this way, if nothing is working for them, they will try just about anything to resuscitate Star Wars. I don't think they want to just throw it in the closet and forget about it and let it stew there for 10 years before trying to bring it back. I think they want to try to save it as soon as they can, and if they get desperate enough, who knows? Well, I think that is going to be all I got for you this time. Now it is your turn. Take to the comments below and weigh in on this topic, which is not a new topic. Certainly, we've discussed at length the possibility of redoing the sequels and what should be done by Disney Star Wars to fix things. But this isn't a topic that is going to go away until either Star Wars itself goes away or until things are fixed. So whatever the case may be, leave your comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars, and until next time, thanks for watching.